At the beginning of May 2026, we attended the Sierra Vista Supernatural Conference in where else but Sierra Vista, Arizona. So this video is about our experience there and what we got to see and hear, and I'm not showing the entire presentations from each of the speakers. I feel that's their work. They did all the research and put together their program, and if they want to release their entire presentation, that's for them to do. Show you a couple little snippets just so you can see the layout and how things went, but this is just a overview of the overall experience. You'll see in some of the initial advertising, actress Jennifer Runyon was scheduled to be one of the presenters, and unfortunately she passed away just prior to the conference. So some of the advertising, that if you research this conference, you'll see her face and name on some of the advertising. Friday evening, the host hotel for the Sierra Vista Supernatural Conference. Now the event is actually at a different venue, but this is where everyone's staying. And the event itself was held at the Huachuca City Community Center.
Stone tablets were found, and then of course 1000 BC we had the Babylonian tablets of these. And these Babylonian tablets showed interesting things in the sky. They chronicled the skies. In other words, they were looking up.
So they strayed away from portals. We're going to call them exploits now. And now they're like starting to stray away from that and claim these other things. Well, really what this is where the solar wind and the Earth's magnetosphere meet. And what happens is you have these portals open up, and it allows electrons from the sun
into Sierra Vista, so it's pretty exciting. But what's up with, there's no drive-through Starbucks around here? What is going on? I had to visit 3 different ones before I finally had to walk in there because my lazy ass didn't want to. Called Paranormal Mysteries, and again, you can find it on Beacon TV, streambeacontv.com. And we do our same investigative style that we've always done, but there are our own cases now. So we get to add to our own case files, which is really humbling, and we're very thankful to be able to do this work.
In a rush, we'll take our time here. The reason why is because it's the UFO crash retrievals that will facilitate disclosure. What we need in this field is the hardware, the actual hardware and the bodies. 15 minutes later, and it wasn't a squad car that pulled up, it was a private car. He gets in the car, they go across town to where I show you on the map, and when he gets out, what he sees is shocking. What he saw was about a 25-foot diameter disc-shaped craft. It augured in at a 15-degree to 30-degree angle.
So Saturday's a wrap. Excellent job by all the presenters today. Shane Pittman kind of knocked it out of the park. He did a great job talking about his childhood, some of the trauma involved with his childhood, and then morphing that into the career he has now with some paranormal investigations and some of the TV shows he's been involved with. Integrated it with some humor, but did a great job, as did Michael Schratt. Also a home run by Michael Schratt, as usual. Great researcher, great historian, did an excellent job. Mike Ricksecker also did a great job. Stargates and Portals, phenomenal. Mark D'Antonio, another great job. If you've never seen Mark D'Antonio do his thing, you have to. I mean, he just so full of knowledge about what's out there in our outer space. And then Dwight Hall had a very interesting story about an experience that he had, and he brought out some recordings of some therapy that he had done, and very interesting. I mean, just it's kind of hard to explain, but he also did a great job. So great experience. So if you weren't here, you missed it. But we'll see what Sunday holds forth. I mean, Sunday should be another good day, but Saturday's a wrap.
And I'm going to list off a few, and I'll do it also during my talk tomorrow. Okay, and we'll talk about them as well just a little bit. But I wanted to give you a couple. One of the ones that I think is really probably the best is a program called Sky Guide. Now, if you watch that, you'll notice it's sort of yellow in color, right? Yeah. That's because the light is exactly the sunlight. Now, the sunlight in space is actually white. Did you know that? It's not yellow. Okay, the reason it looks yellow is because as it comes to the atmosphere, right, the molecules in the atmosphere actually absorb some of the blue light, letting through the rest. And that's why it's old, but the older the better. And the telescope is over 100 years old, and the telescope was called the Alvin Clark refractor. Might have actually heard of these types of refractors. They're the best refractors ever made. You can see symmetry, and that's something that humans are remarkably good at, is looking in.
Sunday, May 3rd, another round of presenters here at the Sierra Vista Supernatural Conference.
B2 Spirit and the F-117, they call it the cockroach, was not the official name for it, but that's what the guys call it. And it was on November 11th and 22nd of 1988. In January of 89, I called up John Lear and I said, hey, I'm going to come into town, we're going to rent a car. You said you know where the Tonopah test range is. Let's go see if we can go see an F-117. So I flew into Vegas. I was living in Minnesota at the time. Minnesota's my home. I live in Oro Valley, Arizona now, but my heart's in Minnesota, even as trashy as it's gotten lately. So we landed McCarran to get a car. I head over to John's house. He lived on 1414 Hollywood Boulevard. It was right near Nellis Air Force Base, and he'd been there forever. He's no longer here, and the house got sold a long time ago. So we jumped on the road, US 95. We're heading north to Tonopah.
So Sunday, May 3rd, the conference is over. Sunday was a good day. We started with Jim Goodall, just a wealth of knowledge, an aviation historian, and talked about a little bit about his meeting Bob Lazar for the first time and how he met him through John Lear, and then he himself became friends with him. So, but also just a lot about working on the various Air Force projects he worked on, and a lot of the photography he's done on the different planes, and just a wealth of knowledge, and a great guy. I mean, he took the time to chat with anyone who wanted to stop by, and just a real treasure. I really appreciated the time. And then next up, they were going to have Dave Schrader, and for whatever reason, Dave Schrader wasn't there. And if they announced why he wasn't there, I missed it and I never heard. But anyway, Dave Schrader wasn't there, so Dwight Hall spoke again, and the topic he spoke on today was about animal communication, which is something he does. And he himself said people kind of equate it to Dr. Dolittle, which it's, once you hear him talk about it, it's really a lot more than that. But he has a lot of success stories with that, and it was actually kind of fascinating to hear about it. Not something you really think about or even hear about at all, really. And then last but certainly not least was Karen Hill, who is the Tucson MUFON director. And her topic today, she was talking about crystals and consciousness, which quite honestly is something I've not really paid a whole lot of attention to. But she had a presentation talking about starting around with the history of crystals, and a guy by the name of Marcel Vogel, and talking about crystal orbs and things that have been found even in modern times, but going back to ancient times, and crystals and healing powers and things like that. But then also she kind of morphed into dowsing and just some of the symbology associated with ancient times, and some of the things you see today. I was actually kind of blown away. Again, not something I would have probably gone to if I had a choice of topics to go to, but I came away certainly very well educated in it, and she did a great job. So I really have to compliment her. And again, this is a conference where you don't, they don't have 2 or 3 things going on at the same time. You're all in the same room together, and the speaker comes up and you're all there. Obviously, if something you don't want to hear, you can get up and leave or whatever, but thought they did a great job. And I went there for some specific speakers on specific topics, and I came away educated in other topics that I probably, like I said, wouldn't have ordinarily taken the time to look into. And for that, I'm grateful, and I had a great time. I thought they did a great job. And if they do the conference again, you should kind of pay attention to it. The Sierra Vista, this time they call it Sierra Vista Supernatural Conference. I think in the past they've called it the Sierra Vista UFO Conference. But anyway, Dwight Hall and Rhonda Hall are the ones that put it on, and they're on social media, so you can look them up. But anyway, it was a great job. It was a good weekend.